Hello and welcome to section 3 of beginning JavaScript and jQuery. In this section, we will be talking about the document object model. And with that, we'll be talking about what the DOM is, how you access it, and then how you manipulate it. For this first video, we'll be looking at what the DOM is. And then we will also be looking at what the DOM is not. And just to give you a heads up with this video, there is no code. This is more of a just simply informational video, more of a, I guess you could say, scholarly video instead of a hands-on, because you need to kind of learn what the DOM is a little bit before we can go start using it. So what is the DOM? The W3C is a World Wide Web consortium. They're sort of the people that kind of come up with the specifications for HTML, JavaScript, CSS, etc. They define the document object model, or DOM, as an application programming interface for valid HTML and well-formed XML documents. It defines the logical structure of documents and the way a document is accessed and manipulated. Now that may sound a little techie or far-fetched, but as you start looking at everything, you'll kind of have a much better understanding of that. And through the DOM, we can do several things. We can parse the document. Now, in the instance that they're talking about document means basically if you look at the hierarchy, which we look at a graph here, a flowchart here in a few minutes. But you have, when you look at what your browser represents or renders in Chrome, there's several kind of hierarchies going on. And one of them is the document itself, which is the actual page that you are seeing in the browser. So with JavaScript, we can grab every bit of that document and manipulate or get the value of anything we want within that document, as we will see over the next couple of videos. We can create documents. You can create a HTML document from pure JavaScript if you want. I really don't recommend it, but you can do it. We can add elements to the DOM, and with the same, on the other side of that coin is we can delete elements from the document object model. And finally, we can change elements. So again, what is the DOM and what is this hierarchy that we keep seeing? As I said, they've got a couple of hierarchies going on, with the first one being the window itself. There is some stuff JavaScript can do with that, but we're not going to get into that at any point during this video series. Right here is where we're going to focus on, and that is the DOM. So then from there we have our HTML. This is our beginning HTML tag on the page. We then go over here to our head tag. You see every one of these tags is basically what you would call a node in the document object model. And we can, through JavaScript, access every one of these and change how we want. And just kind of taking a step back, that I probably should have mentioned up front. This document is defined via HTML and CSS. JavaScript then comes in, and it can be the glue between the two, or it can, you can add CSS. And we keep talking about HTML, but you can add CSS. You can manipulate CSS just as much as you can HTML. So, see, with JavaScript and this DOM mindset or API thing, however you want to look at it, With JavaScript, we have access to every piece of what's on that screen for the user, and that we'll see as we really get into stuff in the next couple of videos of how powerful that truly is. Now, what the DOM is not. As I mentioned just now, the DOM is the single most important piece of functionality for us programmers. However, there are some things that it is not. And this is all provided by the W3C, which, I will give them the credit for the next few bullet points. It is not a binary specification. It is not a method to persist objects from, to XML or HTML. That means that, it's a lot of times when we think of objects, from a other programming language standpoint, or even, JavaScript, which JavaScript supports objects, we're just not, and we don't have time to cover them. But, we think of as an object as something that we've saved and we can, call back, and it's a serialized bit of code that we have. With this, we don't have that. That's not what that is. It's not that kind of object. And on that same mindset, it is not a set of data structures. It does not define what information is relevant or how the information is structured. That means that, it's not HTML. It's not, I'm trying to think of a way to say this for you guys that would, kind of make sense. It does not define the HTML itself. HTML itself is defined, by that language. That's not what the DOM is. The DOM is still just kind of just this, it's not an object as we typically think of objects in the programming world. It's just that's just the way they decide to kind of word it.